Hey Blue Table fans, we're here with Master Painter Karen, and she's going to tell us a few things about black armor.
Yeah, black armor specifically, making your armor really bright and shiny, but not straying into making it look gray in the end.
Right.
So you can see on the example of the model that I've started painting up.
Okay. So this is a finished result?
Yeah, he's mostly finished. I just need to finish his gun and his base and stuff like that.
Okay.
But the armor right here that I'm going to show you is pretty done. So this guy is called Guija, right?
Okay.
It's kind of a complicated name, Guija. I don't know. There you go. So focusing on like the really tight lining of stuff, it's really just coloring on the lines, not even in the lines. You're not even worrying about the rest of it because the majority of it is black.
It's just flat black.
Yeah, flat black,
Okay.
a little bit of highlighting right there, dry brushing with a really tiny dry brush, getting in there and kind of smearing it in.
And you're about to show us all of this on
Yes.
a brand new figure.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
and what's this guy called?
Infinity, I think it's called Guija. It's kind of
Okay.
an odd spelling. He's Yijing faction.
Okay,
So Chinese.
fantastic. So now this model's on a 40mm base, so he's a little bit larger.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
go
thick.
ahead.
Lots of fun. Okay, so for getting started, I'm going to work on this big front plate right here.
Okay.
And if you're wondering what the heck do I start highlighting, because he doesn't quite have the edges, you know, he's got a little bit, but it's kind of rounded. What you can do is you can just get the model wet, put a bunch of water on it, and pay close attention to where the light is hitting it. From my point of view, I can see it hitting right along here on this real nice curve right here.
Right.
So it's a great reference point for you.
Okay.
For real shiny stuff.
That is a really great trick.
Yeah, it's very useful. So kind of paying attention to that, you can look at it for as long as you want. It'll dry right off, even if you've already started painting. Go ahead and slop a bunch more water on there.
Okay.
So the colors I'm working with are black, black gray, somber gray, pale blue, and then white.
Okay, so 5 different colors, and you have them out here.
Yeah.
These are Vallejo colors, but you can find equivalents in lots of different ranges.
Yeah. The most important color I'd say is this kind of bluish gray color.
Okay.
It makes it a lot brighter, a lot more colorful looking, a colorful black, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And so, in fact, you don't just have a bunch of white, grays, and blacks.
Yeah.
You've got actually some
stuff
color
in,
in there.
yeah.
Because this is a little bit bluish, right?
Yeah,
and
you
this
can-
is a little bit greenish.
Yeah.
Okay,
And you
all
can,
right.
you can swap it out
I'm
if you want
intrigued.
kind of a bluish tinged one. You could swap it out for something crazy like royal blue. You could swap it for purple if you want.
Wow.
Whatever you want, that's kind of your main color that you're going for, and these are going to complement it a ton.
All right, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously the model is sprayed black, so we're not going to be putting on a ton of black. It's kind of mixing and wet blending with the rest of them.
Okay.
If you've got a wet palette, now is the time to use it. If you've got acrylic retardant, it's a good thing to use.
Okay.
I'm just going to be using straight water and paint though.
Okay.
So to get started, just mix my black around with the black gray. Get kind of something that when I start putting it on, it's not going to look like a hard line. If it does look like a hard line, you know, I paint it on, I'm just like, I don't really like those edges. I can put some more black and just kind of smear it in there. It's a really subtle process, really smearing things around, pushing the colors around, keeping it wet. Definitely some wet blending, higher techniques going on right here. So remembering with that water I put on, I really want this U shape going on right here, this to be highlighted and look really nice. And up in here too. So the first layer is not gonna look that, it's not gonna make much stand out. It's gonna be really subtle.
Yeah, you can hardly tell that it's there.
Yeah. And these are the colors you're gonna use the most. White, you're just gonna do little dots in the end, which you'll see pretty fast.
Okay, so now you're using just straight up black gray.
Yeah, black
right?
gray. I stopped mixing around the black in with it. So it's a little odd painting backwards, trying to let you guys see what I'm working on. But
Well, you only have to paint really one section for us to understand it.
yeah. So now I'm gonna mix my black gray in with my somber gray.
Okay.
Keeping it wet. And just like any sort of shading, you know, you start using less and less the brighter you go. And And that right there, that comes across as a lot to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and dumb that down with some more black gray. Just line it, smear it around, get what I like.
Now that seems extremely, like, not edged at all. It seems like you just made it gray on the interior.
Yeah.
So are you gonna, like, beat it back with straight up black?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's what I'm going on right here, with a little more black on my brush. And a lot of times with a model like this one that I was starting with, it's got the raised edges, so you're not going to be smearing around quite as much. This is probably one of the more complicated areas to do because it is rounded like that.
Right.
But it's still that edging look,
Right.
and it's shaded edges. So now I'm just going to do straight somber gray, putting very little on my brush. I don't want a ton. I don't want to load it up.
And you're doing this fast enough that, you know, it's still a little bit wet while you're doing the subsequent stages there.
Yeah, for sure it helps to have a wet palette to keep your paints all wet. The acrylic retardant keeps your acrylics from drying very fast, so that's always really helpful.
Okay, can you hold on a second?
Sure. Okay, already I'm starting to see, you know, the lines. I'm not quite liking where it's going. I'm going to kind of shape it with a darker color again. Erasing, putting it back on, erasing, putting it back on. Really, the name of the game is stuff going on, and I'm going all the way back to black and making sure I'm marking my territory. This is going to be black for forever. Nothing is going to creep up, because if it creeps up, it's going to turn it into gray really, really fast. All right, and now I'm going all the way up to pale blue, mixing a bit with the somber gray with pale blue. Not a ton on my brush.
A bit of color.
Just very little on the super brightest parts. Yeah.
But I would say that if you have time for it, I think whatever quick time should be easily doable.
He just like, he doesn't have a preference.
It's still a bit wet. I can just use pure water to smear it around a little bit. Not a ton. Going back to somber gray.
Okay.
Yeah, the fire ones. If you get the fire beans, like you said, you can be like, because it doesn't. The cryo one,
Back to black gray.
And is there a writer for either one, or is it just for the fire one?
All right. So you can keep playing with it for hours. There's a lot you can do. You can just the smoother you want it, the more you keep working with it.
Okay, fantastic.
But for now, I'm going to call it good. You can go smoother, you can go choppier, whatever, as much time as you want to spend with it. But the finishing touches will be just the hint of white. Hint, not a ton at all. Just make sure my brush is flat on the edges. Just a little bit of white on there, and just.
Oh, hold on. Let me hone in here.
Yeah.
Wow, this is zoomed in like a ton. Okay, go ahead.
And just barely dot it on some of the brightest parts. Woo, even that's too much.
Oh, now you got to go back and blend all that out.
Yeah, it's kind of a long process. Back to some pale blue. I'm kind of smearing out the edges, make sure it's not too sharp. You kind of see how that's coming together?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, thanks a million, Karen. That's very much appreciated.
Good.